And we are live. We want the gold, sucker. We want the gold, sucker.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy Sage the Mark. It's Real Wrestling Podcast. Oh my god, I'm coming in all yellow. All yellow. All yellow. But it's all good. That's the way it is sometimes. I should have checked that before I got online. Anyhow, this is your boy Sage the Mark. It's Real Wrestling Podcast. Make sure y'all hit us up on YouTube. It's Real Wrestling Podcast, all spelled out. We got us on Twitch. It's Real Wrestling Podcast on Twitch. Mixer, y'all can just search for It's Real Wrestling Podcast on there. We're there as well. On iTunes, Stitcher, everywhere and anywhere. Your boys are there. Hit us up at Twitter at Real WrestleCast and Instagram, the gram. It's Real Wrestling Podcast, all spelled out. Show us some love. Let us know what you guys thought about this week in wrestling, because we want to hear from you. It's not a community podcast without you. Oh, man. And with all the formalities out of the way, I must say, very interesting week of wrestling this week. And I don't even know where to start, to be honest with you. We got the news today. I think it was today. It might have been yesterday. I think it was yesterday. AEW has finally announced their weekly show. We all speculated on whether or not it was going to be either Wednesday or Thursday, and we got the heads up from a press release that it's going to be October 2nd. It's going to be on Wednesdays. It's interesting to see how that's going to play during like the basketball season, seeing as though that's usually the day, most basketball games are aired on TNT. But you know what? I've said this before, and I probably haven't said it on the podcast at all, but I'm damn near proud of these guys and ladies who have put this organization together. They put it all on the line for a shot at something different. And I commend them for that. Not all people can say that they have chased their dream and that they have put everything into this dream to make it a reality for not just themselves but for their community at large. And for that, I'm immensely proud, and I'm glad that I am being able to bear witness to the rebirth of wrestling on TNT. Growing up, WCW was by far my favorite wrestling organization. I loved it on TNT. My brother, on the other hand, liked WWE. So I was upstairs watching WCW, and he was downstairs watching WWF. And we would have these big old arguments about which product was better, and it was great. He couldn't concede that WCW was great until WWE actually bought out WCW, and then he says, "Yeah, it was great, but WWE's here to stay." I was like, whatever. I'm definitely excited with this opportunity. I saw a press release. Not a press release, but I'm also excited that all this media attention is coming around them as well. I saw this spot that they did on TV Guide where they were talking about Stephen Amell and him being out of a job. If you guys don't know, this is actually his final season of Arrow, and the show is going to be over. And they were like, well, he kind of help us build this thing, so we'll always have a spot for him if he's ready, and we know exactly where to put him. So that's pretty fun and interesting to see. That they've haven't forgotten Mr. Amell, and Mr. Amell hasn't forgotten them. He plugs the heck out of out of AEW, and rightfully so, man. Those are his friends and his buddies, and especially Cody and stuff. And I digress not digress, but I would be remiss to say that I did enjoy that episode when Cody was on the Arrow, I thought that was pretty cool. So whenever you can get superheroes and wrestling together, it's always a recipe for greatness. So Raw had their big, switching gears a little bit. Raw had their reunion show, and I was kind of thinking, like, taking a couple of weeks back when this was announced, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, why in the world would WWE put on a quote-unquote reunion show? Like, what purpose does it serve, like, logistically? And I couldn't really think of one other than the fact that they're just trying to bring people who have lost faith in the product back over by bringing nostalgia acts together. That's the only thing that I could come up with, and I was kind of just going at it last week and thinking, that's all it's got to be. It's got to be a cash grab. They advertised Melena, and I thought that she was going to have a bigger role than she did. I'll go into that in a little bit later. They advertised Sid Vicious too, which Psycho Sid was one of my favorite characters growing up. I mean, he was definitely within my top 3, underneath $1 Million Man and Mr. Perfect. But yeah, it was kind of surprised to see that he didn't actually show up. I don't know if that was mix up behind the scenes or what the deal was with that, but was definitely, I haven't seen Sid since he broke his leg in WCW. So me being able to see him again and seeing what kind of shape he's in would have been something exciting for me, but unfortunately we didn't get that. We had a $1 Million Man that was there with Alundra Blaze, and at first I didn't think. So when they did the backstage segment with the 24/7 title, and long story short, it ended up going to Kelly, who ended up being the first woman to win the 24/7 title, which I thought was pretty cool. But the thing that kind of perplexed me, man, was like Melena was there, and I don't know about y'all, but when she was announced that she was going to be there, I thought, we were going to get like a women's match or at least an angle. But no, we just saw her just say, hey, I've been studying to be a referee and I've got my referee. And I kind of knew it was going to be something like that. But I thought that was a missed opportunity because Melena looks in great shape. I haven't seen her wrestle outside of the WWE, but I can't imagine her not being in ring shape. So it's just, I just thought that was, I wish she was better used, but it also got me to thinking, like, throughout the night, I don't think I saw a women's match at all. I saw a couple women's segments here and there, mainly revolved around the 24/7 title. But no women's match. I didn't see. I saw it. I was watching the Hulu cut and I didn't see anything there. So I was a little concerned on Raw. Maybe it's just because of this whole reunion show that this is going on. But I'm hoping they get their act together and back on the ball because SummerSlam's in a couple weeks, and we only have like 2 proposed matches around the titles and no other storylines going on, which is and possibly one on SmackDown, which we'll talk about too. But the most notable thing on this Raw reunion show, aside from Stone Cold Steve Austin bathing everybody in beer and stuff at the end, and Lillian Garcia taking it like a champ, was Bray Wyatt. Man, and I mean, wait, I gotta take a step back. The Fiend ended up showing up on a segment where Mick Foley came out wanting to relive his most epic moments for the reunion show, and the lights went out just like it normally did, and Bray appeared, and this I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks of the way that I wanted Bray Wyatt's character to go. I wanted to make sure that they incorporated the heel and the hurt on his gloves, because I think that that's an extension of his character, being a sociopathic person where he can't make a decision, but he makes it like at the last second kind of thing. And I loved it that he appeared. He appeared next to Mick Foley. He put the gloves up, and then he put the heel glove down, and it said "hurt." And then he gave Foley the mandible claw, which I thought. I talked about this last week, guys, and I don't mean to mark out, but I'm excited. This is the kind of stuff that excites me in wrestling, but the psychology around it. But I said last week that I wish that Bray Wyatt would have used a move aside from Sister Abigail. Like, I don't like that move for the Fiend. Like, if you're wanting to make an impact for the character, you got to make him completely different. His moveset's somewhat different than what Bray Wyatt's movesets was. Distinguish him as an entity, as a different character. And I felt like what they did is, they gave him the mandible claw, which I love that, and I hope he uses that when he uses the hurt as opposed to the heel. I hope he uses heel and uses Sister Abigail, and then uses hurt as the Fiend, using the mandible claw for the hurt. I think that would be pretty awesome. But he takes him out with that, and then the whole spotlights come on him, and I'm like, yo, this is how you build up the Fiend / Bray Wyatt. This dude should never lose, at least not going into up until WrestleMania. He should not lose at all. Continue to use him as a destroyer, as an enforcer, because that's what we need. Now, eventually he's going to need to cut a promo. And like I said last week, like, if you're going to use this sociopathic character where he's like constantly saying, let me in, like he's imprisoned or in a cage somewhere, you need to make sure that you separate him, the Fiend, from Bray Wyatt himself. Let Bray Wyatt be the mouthpiece and let the Fiend be the enforcer. That's what I said last week, and I was hoping that we were going to get that on Raw, because he only seems to be appearing on Raw. So, with that being said, I like what they're doing so far with Bray Wyatt. Continue this momentum with him, and I think you have a hit for a character. This is how you rebuild a character. And I'm thinking about it as well, just kind of a side note. I think this is the reason why they killed Mojo Rawley's like secondary character, because I think that he was kind of like, the whole face paint thing was kind of an essence of him, his mind breaking kind of thing. And I think that they came to a conclusion that might have been too close to Bray's character, and ended up nexing that. Or using maybe as a pop test, I don't know, for a character. I know that sometimes that they do that they put they allow in one character to kind of do it, just to kind of test the waters before they do it full blown on another character. So, but all in all, I thought it was pretty. That was the highlight for Raw for me. The rest of Raw, I could have really done without it. I really didn't like the reunion. I felt that it was just more of a cheap plug. There was hardly any wrestling whatsoever on the card. I think there might have been 5 matches in a 3-hour show, and I think that was not including any of the 24/7 stuff that was going on. So I think that was just a little bit too much for me. So I hope it achieved, for WWE's sake, I hope it achieved what it was that they were trying to do, which I think it was just trying to garner more people to come watch wrestling, come back to us, because we're going to provide you with a better product kind of thing. I think that's really all that was. But, we'll see what the ratings had to say about that, and see if it made any impact on it. But, that's pretty much it. So, on to SmackDown. SmackDown was actually, I'm not surprised. SmackDown was back to its former glory, in my opinion. I absolutely loved it from beginning to end. I loved the Kofi Kingston coming out and challenging Randy Orton, like literally picking him out of the crowd and saying, "Hey, this is who I'm gonna face at SummerSlam, and this is the reason why. And I always give kudos when there's continuity built into the character, or built into the characters, and built into the feuds, or into the matches. I'm a stickler for continuation of storylines, and this is exactly what we got for here. In hindsight, I didn't even think that Orton would be the perfect character, but the perfect opponent for Kofi Kingston going under SummerSlam. But in hindsight, he is. He absolutely is, for all the reasons that Kofi had mentioned. That Kofi was on the rise, 10, 15 years prior, and his rise came to a stalking halt by Randy Orton, because Randy Orton was afraid of his of the momentum that he was getting, and I like that. That shows the passion and resentment that has built up in Kofi Kingston for all this time, and he just needed to get it out. And I love Randy Orton's response, saying, "You're damn right I did that, because I am who I am. I didn't need to do anything extra. I didn't need to get into character. I did me, and I got ahead, and you weren't ready, and I did you a favor." And I love that. That was completely. That was it. That was it. That was the hook that you got from those two characters. And Samoa Joe ends up coming out, who kind of acts as the foil for the two. Kofi and him end up having a match, and then Kofi, Randy Orton's at ringside, and he ultimately comes in and tries to attack Kofi when he's not looking, but Kofi kind of evades, and Samoa Joe ends up eating a RKO. Kofi turns around and hits the Trouble in Paradise. Brilliant. That whole transition was amazing. And the only thing that I would have just loved a little bit more is if he would have hit it and then just told Randy Orton, stupid, kind of paying him back for what he had said all those years back. So, but it's a small critique, in my opinion. But overall, that whole segment was fire for me. I will say that I know, and I listen to other podcasters, and I listen to the community, because I think that it's important to kind of get a pulse on where everybody is in terms of their frustrations. And there's a lot of frustrations with what's going on with Samoa Joe. He seems to be losing every match. He can't hold on to his title, and people are continually frustrated because they want him to succeed. What I will say about Samoa Joe is, y'all just take it chill. Samoa Joe's time is coming. I promise you this. This is usually a pattern with WWE. They did it with AJ. He took all those L's in his first year. His second year, he was champion, the WWE champion, on his own show for the majority of the year. So it's the same exact formula. This is WWE's way of making sure that he pays quote unquote dues before they decide to get behind him and fully push him. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. These losses that he's taken hasn't hurt his credibility in any point. He's still money on the mic. He's still being premiered in feature spots against featured talent, usually revolving around the title at any time. He is the go-to person for them, and he will get his opportunity. I kid you not. Samoa Joe's in a good place. He's going to be fine, guys. I promise you. He's going to be fine. We did have a women's segment on here, and not really going to go too deep into this one here. The thing that I wanted to kind of hone in on is Charlotte is obviously upset because she doesn't have an opponent for SummerSlam, and she had alluded in a backstage interview that she's going to find somebody better than Charlotte, and someone better than Bayley, and someone better than Ember Moon to fight at SummerSlam. And again, post-check in the community, everyone is pretty much synonymous that they don't want Charlotte to be in the triple threat match for the title. And I don't think that this is going to happen, guys. I really don't. I think that this was kind of her way of saying that, hey, I'm going to have a challenger a legit challenger at SummerSlam. So the most obvious thing is it's going to be Trish Stratus, right? Because they're going to be in Canada. Trish Stratus is going to be there, or should be there. She keeps alluding to Legends. I think she even was one of the people who was trashing Legends and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is Trish Stratus. But that being said, I wouldn't mind, and I'm hoping that this Charlotte's challenger will actually be either Sasha Banks or Shayna Baszler. I would absolutely love for that to happen. I know that it likely won't be Shayna, but there is a good chance that Shayna could lose the title at NXT TakeOver the night before. So I don't know, guys. Like I'm just saying. I know you think it's Trish, but it could be Shayna. I'm just saying, and this could lead us to the horsewomen thing. The horse. This year, I think that we are finally going to get the horsewomen angle going into to Summer Survivor Series. I really do think that. The other thing is that, and I told you guys this last week, that I believe that Becky might get her match might be impacted by Ronda Rousey. I feel like Ronda Rousey is going to be there to interfere in that match. And if we get Ronda Rousey there and Shayna Baszler there, they form a faction. It's only inevitable the other two are going to come. I feel like the writing is on the wall, guys. That's me. I feel like the writing is on the wall. And then the last but not least, we got to talk about my man Finn Balor. Finn Balor's coming on some hard times as it's been reported in some outlets online. He's seeking to have some time off, which kind of stinks that part of it leaked, because it kind of doesn't really give any mystique to how his match with Bray Wyatt is going to go. But nevertheless, we are getting Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor at SummerSlam. And Finn Balor, came out and challenged Bray Wyatt and, said, I don't understand why he attacked me, but I think that what he did to Mick Foley the night before was, despicable and shouldn't have been done. And he's got to answer for it. And I was like, man, like, that's cool that they called him out, but like, what's gonna happen? And all of a sudden, they pan like to the side of I think it was Kayla. They pan sideways to Kayla and Finn, and then you see the Firefly Funhouse come up, and I swear to goodness, I'm marked out because it's exactly what I wanted. Like, and I liked it because this is it. This is the full gambit, the full character. Bray Wyatt comes on the screen and says, "Hey, the Rambling Rabbit and Mercy and Sister, we all love you. We rooting for you. But the only person who doesn't like you is the Fiend." And I'm like, yo, this is what I'm talking about, man. He's got sociopathic tendencies, man. This is a character, man. This is a modern day realistic character, man. And he is playing it up to the T's. This is brilliant. Now, I know that people are criticizing that it was a pre-recorded segment, but it don't matter. The point is we need Bray to be separate from the Fiend. I mean, that is key to making this character a success. They have got to be completely separated, and they did it. They did it. Now, the only question I have is, when does heel come into play? Because I have a feeling we're not going to see that for a while, but I want to see heel come into play at some point. But yeah, we'll see. We'll we'll see how that turns out. So, what else? Yeah, but oh, and then yeah, so their match got, their match is definitely going on in SummerSlam, and the question also becomes the inevitable question. The elephant in the room is, are we going to get Fiend versus the Demon, or are we going to get the Fiend versus versus Finn Balor? And my take is we should get the Fiend versus Finn Balor. We don't need the Demon at this point. I think that you save the Demon for Bray Wyatt's return. I mean, Finn Balor's return. I don't know why I keep getting these two mixed up. You save it for his return, and then how do I say? You let Bray Wyatt decimate everyone who was in his path, face and heel alike. You just have him wreck shop all the way through, and that's how you do it. That's how you build it. I don't want to see a loss from Bray Wyatt until WrestleMania. Period. I don't want to see it, because he shouldn't lose. He's been losing for 4 years. This guy needs a serious run. And can you imagine him having the title, rolling with the title? Yo, that, to me, that would be sick. But I don't know, man. Like I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving everything that's going on with Bray Wyatt. So, but SmackDown, great show. SmackDown was a great show. Overall, I feel like the writers are back. I feel like it's important again. And I could just be saying this because Raw was just utter nonsense with all the nostalgia acts, but come on, guys. Come on. Keep SmackDown great. That's all I got to say. Keep it great. So, all right. So, man, this is going to end up being a little bit of a short show this week, man. I don't know about that. So, some outside the news stuff. Shout out. I shouldn't say shout out. I want to express my condolences to Rutger Howard and his family on his loss this week. Rutger Hauer was one of my favorite actors growing up. My favorite movie by far from him is Blind Fury. It was literally the movie that got me into samurais and to swords, and I just loved it. I loved someone just being against the odds and just being able to hone his skills, because he doesn't have, his primary skill, or not primary skill, but primary attribute available to him. It just really, really stoked my curiosity from that point on. And movies are a really important aspect of my life. And Rutger Hauer was definitely one of my favorites. He's also in Blade Runner. A lot of people know him from Blade Runner as well. But tremendous actor. I've only heard of nothing but nice things about him. But yeah, I just wanted to express my sincerest condolences, but more so just wanted to express my thankfulness for for what he provided to us. Just greatness in a bottle there, guys. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is fortunately we got Jimmy in the news for all the wrong reasons. Monday we had John Cena return to Raw. It wasn't too bad, but he did him and the Usos kind of did like a little lat rap thing on there, and Cena kind of said, hey, look at y'all, and all I see is y'all's mug shots, and taking shots at them. What we didn't know is Jimmy was on the way of hitting the bottle again, and ended up getting cited this week with another DUI. So another DUI, and I believe it was in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I know, Jimmy, you don't listen to this podcast, man, but I'll say it just like I said it on Twitter, man. Y'all, you can't be doing this, my man. If you need, like, you need me to call you an Uber, bruh, I will call you an Uber. You let your boy know, and I get you that Uber, man. But I'd rather you get home safe, than, not. How do I say? I'd rather you get home safe than not get home at all. The last thing that we would want is for something to happen to you or someone else as a result of your actions. But yeah, I mean, it's never a good look, man, to get pulled over for a DUI. But yeah, man, I gotta say that, man. You just be careful out there, man. You got a lot of people riding on you, man. And if you're not here with us, a lot of people are gonna be sad, man. So whatever you're going through, man, handle your business, but keep it off the road, my man. Keep it off the road. So I'll close with that. Well, not closing the show, but closing with that piece there. So I did want to go ahead and announce a contest we're going to do up through SummerSlam. So I thought I'd reserve this for the latter half of the show. But we're going to go ahead and as you already know, we have a stretch goal right now going on for 1,000 followers by the end of the year. We really need to start ramping it up and getting it up there, guys. I know you guys listen to this podcast, this audio podcast. I see the numbers and the download, but I don't see it translated onto YouTube. And we have a lot of great content on YouTube. A lot of Q&A sessions, some gaming stuff as well, some movie reviews as well. So just extend the content, extend your interest in IRWP by joining us on YouTube. It's Real Wrestling Podcast, all spelled out. If we can get to 500 followers, I'll go ahead and throw in a $50 gift card to a lucky subscriber. So make sure that you subscribe to us at 500. We'll go ahead and release a $50 gift card to one of our followers. So all you got to do to be eligible for this here is to be subscribed. Comment on any of our videos, hashtag IRWP in the comments, and you will automatically be entered into our contest. You can put whatever you want, but hashtag IRWP, so I know y'all hear me. But yeah, just give us a comment and like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I will put the full details in the show notes of this video as well as the audio podcast. So if you're listening to this, the instructions will be there along with the link to YouTube. Just go ahead and get on there and hit that follow button, guys. We're almost there. I mean, we only got 400 more to go, but we can't do it without your help. Technically, we only have 321 to go. But we can't get there without your help. So, if you're listening to this, again, hop on that YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button for the video that you're listening to, and in the comment section, make sure you put a comment in there with the hashtag IRWP, and you will be entered into our contest, $50 gift card at 500 followers. Let's go. Let's get it done. Now that that's out of the way, the last topic that I wanted to talk about tonight is we're not a political podcast, so by all means this conversation isn't going to be political, but I do because of the nature of what I do full time outside of this podcast, I am definitely interested in the cybersecurity and data analytics space. I had the chance to catch a Netflix original called The Great Hack, and I absolutely thought that this was a amazing eye-opener for everyone when it comes to your data, your privacy, and the companies you entrust your data to, and what the potential outcomes could be by allowing users or allowing companies to use your data. I will, forewarn you that there is some politicalness to the video, but it's more objective than it is subjective. So you shouldn't get turned on or turned off by it. But I definitely would recommend that you guys go and watch that on Netflix. Again, it's called The Great Hack. Surprisingly, not a lot of initial advertising on it, and I think that the reason being is because of the potential political nature of it. But again, I'm a strong proponent of people knowing, like being woke, essentially knowing what's going on out there and how you can protect yourself from those types of dangers from happening. Your data is your personal data. That's yours. It belongs to you, in my opinion. And you need to know how your information is being used. So go check it out. The Great Hack on Netflix. It's a great show. So mini-series documentary. It's a great documentary. So all right, guys, that's going to be it for our show this week. I know it's a little bit shorter. A lot of that has to do with the reunion show. But I just want to say, and I know that we're living in a crazy world right now. Crazy times going on right now. But just remember, you always got friends. Separation is not separating ourselves or dividing ourselves, and not liking each other's difference is not the way. Love is the way. It truly is. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but loving one another and appreciating each other's differences is the way to prosperity, harmony, and peace. Division is not. So let's just kind of erase that hate and just get back to what we do best. Respecting each other and watching wrestling. Just watching wrestling. Let's get back to that, guys. So thank you so much for continuing to support the stream. Hey, if you guys want to support it, we got patreon.com/IRWP. Right now we are still 60% on Paget Canyon. Need some support and some help. If you want to advertise on the show, go to patreon.com/IRWP. There's a link there as well. Or there's more information in terms of advertising opportunities there. So be sure to go ahead and check that out. Instagram, It's Real Wrestling Podcast, all spelled out on Instagram. Real WrestleCast on Twitter. And then if you're on YouTube, again, hit us up on YouTube. It's Real Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. You can put IRWP Sage and it will come up as well. But thank you so much, guys. I definitely appreciate that. This is definitely a passion project for me, and I love doing this for you guys. I love the community aspect of it. You guys are amazing. I love all the engagement that you guys do. But let's be humble, okay? I look forward to talking to you guys next week. I might have some couple of game streams going on as well, so make sure you have the bell notifications on all the social platforms, Twitch, Mixer, Instagram, Twitter, wherever it is. We're there. Keep it all up. Keep it all there. But most of all, keep it real, guys.